Hey everyone, it's B, and you're listening to another episode of the In Your Feelings podcast. For those of you who are new here, In Your Feelings is a podcast I created with Thought Catalog, and it dives into the very real and very, very messy aspects of life that we're all navigating together. And it's all about having honest conversations relative to things like relationships and moving on and worthiness. These things that can feel really disheartening and really confusing, in the hopes that openness and that vulnerability makes you feel just like less alone in what you're feeling and reminds you that you aren't the only person who is dealing with certain things in life. And with that being said, today's episode is going to be a little different than what you're used to. Usually, if you listened to the podcast before, you know that I always try my best to hone in on a specific topic or theme that I know the majority of you are dealing with right now. I make sure to spend a lot of time reading my emails and going through my DMs to really connect with just what needs to be heard, with how your hearts are, with what's feeling heavy at the moment, and I go from there. I build out a script or some general talking points, and I just riff and I just try to connect. This week, it felt like there was just an overall level of emotional exhaustion in a lot of human beings. And I can attest to this too, this energy or this feeling of a heavier kind of hope in all of us. Obviously, we are all dealing with something that we have never experienced before. And that new experience has completely changed our worlds, and it has forced us to be alone with ourselves, and it has forced us to really go internally with our thoughts. And while anyone who knows me, if you've ever listened to this podcast before, you know that that's something I've always embraced. And while I do think opportunities to really heal without distraction are unbelievably beautiful and pointed, I also think that in the midst of all of this and the way that those opportunities have come about, it can be really overwhelming. This collective feeling of anxiety and overthinking and really feeling a wide range of emotions in 24 hours of a day can be a lot. You can feel panicked or overwhelmed, and it can really weather you and tire you out. This need to constantly be progressing or working through your things or working out or whatever is like we've added this urgency to this period of potential healing, and that urgency I think is really difficult and can feel pressing, almost a little suffocating for some. And I think that's where we are all at right now. Yes, obviously we need to celebrate the good days and how many breakthroughs we're experiencing, but based on the conversations I've had with a lot of you throughout this week, I feel like we're all just at that point where we feel emotionally just like burnt out, like exhausted, just over it in a way. It feels like a lot is coming up, and it feels like we're holding so much within us. Everything in this world feels so emotionally charged and drained right now, and sometimes we don't even realize that we're unconsciously holding on to a lot of that we're tense or not giving ourselves permission to feel our feelings in a rooted or grounded or safe way. And so today I want to help you do that, and I want to help myself do that because I'm in the exact same position as all of you. And I know that in these moments, sometimes I need a little reminder to take some time for myself, to sit alone, to listen to beautiful words that I relate to or that speak to what I'm going through, and to really just feel those words. To give myself permission to really connect with each word and each moment, and to not deny myself the experience those words or those sentiments bring up. To connect with what makes me feel happy or sad, and to flow through those emotions so that I can let go of them, or acknowledge them so that they aren't roped so tightly inside of me. And so today I'm going to read to you. And I want you to sit somewhere where you feel relaxed and cozy and most at peace. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to focus on breathing through the words and really listening to them. I want you to have a piece of paper in front of you or your notes app open. And when you feel something resonate, when you feel something dig into the belly of you or cause a little lump in your throat to form, I want you to write down what that was. Or I want you to write down the emotion you're feeling, or the person you thought of, or the memory you just crashed back into. I want you to give your feelings a name. I want you to give yourself permission to acknowledge that they are there. I want you to just release, to let them out when you feel them wash over you. I want you to just let yourself go in this moment. And I hope that in doing so, you come out of this reading feeling a little lighter, like you let out a bit of that heaviness, like you took some time to really go inside of yourself, not in a way that was overthinking your feelings or trying to fix every emotion, but rather in a way that was just trying to be kinder to yourself, in a way that was just trying to hold your emotions and nurture them and ground yourself. And I hope these words help for you to come back home to yourself. I hope they crack some calm into your day. Okay, so I'm gonna be reading from my book. I'm just going to read to you, and I want you to close your eyes and we'll get started. This first poem is for anyone who is dealing with the loss of someone they thought was going to be in their life forever. This first poem is for anyone who is currently going through heartbreak or trying to let go of someone they really, really loved. Moving on is a quiet understanding that it is okay to have your heartbeat speak their name. That it is okay to miss someone who was once such a staple in your life. But moving on is also a fragile belief, a delicate reminder that the wound does mend, that life does push forward. Moving on is deeply believing in the fact that one day you will hear the songs and smile. You will sleep in the sheets and they will no longer smell like them. It is believing that one day you will fall in love again. One day you will look back on the memory, on the chapter, and your hands will not shake with the heaviness of it all. Moving on is accepting that you will no longer make memories together. It is coming to terms with the reality of a future without them. Moving on is understanding that they will do everything you had ever spoken about. They will live a life they are proud of. They will become the people they have always hoped to be. They will take the trips. They will experience all of the things they dreamed of experiencing. They will love deeply and wholly and with every inch of their patchwork heart, but all of that will happen without you by their side. Moving on is accepting the fact that they will heal their hearts. Moving on is coming to terms with the fact that someone else is going to fall in love with their light. That someone else is going to be their biggest fan. Moving on is not resenting them for doing so, but rather hoping that they find the kind of love they deserve. Moving on is hoping that they find someone who inspires them and moves them and appreciates every stunning thing they are. Moving on is hoping that they find someone who stirs the deepest parts of their being, someone who is both their safe place and their biggest adventure. Moving on is hoping that they are happy, truly, truly happy one day. But most importantly, moving on is accepting that sometimes beautiful things end. It is understanding that there is nothing you can say or do to change that. Moving on is coming to terms with the fact that sometimes leaving is an act of love too. That sometimes you have to walk away from something soft and hauntingly real, that sometimes hearts don't align. But moving on is also learning how to accept that endings don't always have to be messy. Moving on is about finding peace within the serendipity of it all. It is about understanding how lucky you truly were. Because in a world of billions, in a world that rarely slows down, you were in the right place at the right time, and you met someone who made you feel deeply. You met someone who made you believe in the risking of your soul. You loved. And now moving on is about laying down that love. It is about setting it free. But it is also about being thankful for it. It is also about being grateful for the opportunity to have opened. It is also about being grateful for all of the lessons it grew within your heart. Okay, so this next poem is just a little reminder for all of you about what you deserve and what I hope you believe in finding in this life and what I hope you believe that you're worthy of in this life. I wrote this as a reminder to myself when I was going through a lot, a little reminder to believe in things getting better, a little reminder to believe in the love that I deserved, a little reminder to believe in goodness and that I was worthy of having it in my life. And so even though I wrote it for myself, I see this poem now as my hopes for all of you, and I hope that's how you take it. I hope you find what you're looking for out there. I hope you find the kind of happiness that exists on your own terms. I hope you truly take the time to figure out what moves you, what encourages your soul, what you deeply crave from life, and I hope you have the courage to chase that. I hope you have the courage to believe that you are deserving of everything you desire, that you are capable and worthy of curating the kind of life for yourself that sparks something within you. You have a fire inside of you, and I hope you never let convenience or comfort or the easiness of standing still put it out. I hope you show the world what you can do with all of that passion inside of you. I hope you find the kind of love that makes you a softer person, the kind of love that makes you want to be a better man or woman, the kind of love that believes in you and supports you, that stands by your side. I hope you find someone who quickly becomes your favorite thing, someone who makes the fall less fearful, someone you can't help but choose every single day. I hope you find someone who shows you just how deeply you can feel, just how deeply you can love. I hope you find something real, because nothing is more beautiful than loving someone who loves you back. Nothing is more beautiful than loving someone who builds you a home in their heart. I hope you find acceptance, the kind that rings through your bones, the kind that quiets the voice inside of you that tells you that you are not good enough or that you are falling behind. I hope you forgive yourself for the mistakes you have made, for the past you keep alive inside of you. I hope you learn to let go of all of the things you had to do in order to heal or to grow or to survive. You are doing your best. You are human. Please don't ever forget that. I hope you find the kind of moments that take your breath away. The kind of moments that change you. I hope you travel to places that cleanse you. I hope you go to concerts that ring through your bones and make you feel alive. I hope you connect with the small things. I hope you look at someone mid-conversation and you feel your stomach surge with the feelings you have for them. I hope you surround yourself with the kind of friends that encourage your spontaneity, that are always there for you. I hope you live. Truly. I hope you don't look back. There is so much to feel in this world, and I hope you feel it all. But most of all, I hope you find yourself out there. I hope you figure out your heart. I hope you figure out your mind. I hope you learn how to be kind to yourself, how to embrace the journey you are on. I hope you learn how to be proud of the person you are becoming. I hope you learn how to be proud of where you are, even if it isn't exactly where you want to be. I hope you learn to fall in love with the process, with the messiness of life and the confusion of it all. At the end of the day, I hope you find what you're looking for out there. I hope your life inspires you. All right, so this next poem is just about your humanness and the process you go through, the journey you go through to learn about yourself and to heal and to grow. I'm slowly learning what it means to be human. I am slowly learning how to forgive the past, how to accept that sometimes beautiful things end, that sometimes the timing isn't right, that sometimes the messiness of life gets in the way. I am slowly learning what it means to be human. I am slowly learning how to forgive the past, how to accept that sometimes beautiful things end, that sometimes the timing isn't right, that sometimes the messiness of life gets in the way. I am slowly learning that endings aren't something to be upset about, but rather I am slowly learning how to appreciate how damn lucky I was to experience something real and hopeful and light in a world that sometimes fails to be soft. I am slowly learning how to be alone. I am slowly learning how to wake up in the middle of the bed, how to make just one cup of coffee in the mornings, how to hold my own heart, how to take up my own space. I am slowly learning how to stop filling voids with other human beings, and instead I am slowly learning how to confront the void itself, how to heal it. I am slowly learning what it means to be human, what it means to make mistakes and learn from them, what it means to be both happy and sad at the same time. I am slowly learning how to do the damn work, how to stop running from what is heavy and uncomfortable in my life, how to take the easy route less and less, how to grow myself, how to be a better person. But most of all, I am slowly learning how to just be in this moment, how to exist, how to understand that I cannot control life, that I can only experience it in both its light and its dark stages. I am slowly learning how to laugh and cry and feel through it all. How to welcome the confusion and the joy that comes with loving and living and breaking. I am slowly learning how to accept where I am. I am slowly learning how to simply believe in the person I am becoming. Okay, so this next poem is for the deep feelers and the empathetic hearts. Let me tell you about people who love deeply. They are wells of feeling, storms of hope and heart that never know when to stop the downpour. People who love deeply are both soft and strong. They are whirlwinds of rarity that will only ever know how to empty themselves out for the people they love. People who love deeply do not know how to turn their hearts off, do not know how to stop giving. And though this is the most beautiful aspect of who they are, it is also the most fatal. For people who love deeply also hurt deeply. See, people who love deeply always lock the hurricane that is their soul into the wrong rib cages. They spill out into the bones of people who were only ever hoping to be a temporary home for their warmth. They deplete all of their emotion just trying to fill the hollowness in those who do not appreciate it. When it comes to people who love deeply, the ones they choose can't quite understand just how someone could pour themselves out for another person and ask for nothing in return. However, they do not set them free. They continue to take. They continue to accept a love they know they could never possibly mirror. They allow for the warmth of this human being to make them feel new again. And when they are done with the keeping of a rare and beautiful thing, only then do they discard it. Only then do they tell it that it is no longer needed. But people who love deeply have a hard time being set free. Not because they are weak, not because it is in their nature to beg for the admiration of others. No, people who love deeply have a hard time leaving because they can never quite convince themselves that they need to walk away from someone they know they can help. They will never stop trying to love someone into their potential. Will never stop falling for the echo of what if in another human being. And that is where people who love deeply hurt the most. In the small ache that forms in their chest. The unfinished business that creates caverns of confusion in their minds. They wonder if they were good enough. And the thought of someone leaving when they still had so much left to give haunts them for the rest of their lives. They never forget. People who love deeply never forget. They are tattooed with the goodbyes of everyone they never got the chance to shine for. And even if the love was wrong, to someone who loves deeply, no amount of loving is a waste. No amount of taking is too much. They live to give. And that is where you come in. Let me tell you about people who love deeply. They are human beings that don't quite make sense to most. They are the few genuine souls who give and do not need to be filled in return. They are resources of boundless feeling. But that does not mean you get to take advantage of that. No, if you do not respect that, if you do not know when to stop taking and when to start loving them despite their inability to ask for that love, do not touch them. Do not taste them. Do not drink from the well of their hope. Do not be selfish with their hearts. All right, so this last poem is one of my favorite pieces in my book, and it's just a little reminder to trust the timing of your life and to really believe that the right things are unfolding for you at the right times. Listen, you are going to find the things that make you feel free in life. You are going to fall into the deepest love with another human being and with yourself. You are going to discover the things that fill you with purpose, the things that make you want to rise each morning. You are going to feel hope cracking within all of the dark the past has buried within you. You are going to uncover all of that light. You are going to be okay. You are going to figure things out. But you must understand that there is no set timeline for this kind of discovery. There is no checklist for this kind of growth. You may fall in love tomorrow, or you may fall in love in 10 years from now. You might discover your passion the day after you graduate, or you might be 50 years old before you finally find the thing that causes your heart to ache with happiness. Whatever it is, just give it time. Be gentle with yourself. Do not rush the way you stretch into the person you are becoming. Do not scramble to fill your life with things that are not for you just because you feel like you are falling behind. You are not falling behind. You are falling into yourself. So please keep going. Everything that is meant to be yours will be yours. It will come. It will come. Whew. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here today. I hope that this little reading helped for you to relax into what you were feeling and help for you to come back home to yourself in even the smallest of ways. I hope you felt like you were releasing a bit of that heaviness I think we're all experiencing, and I hope it helped for you to feel a little lighter before you start a new week. Know that you can come back to this episode at any time and re-listen to it when you need it. That's why I made it. And if you're interested in listening to more meditations from us, you can also check out our YouTube and Facebook channels if that's something you felt like diving into. We have a lot more there that go into a wide array of topics, and I think that if this episode resonated with you, they would as well. I can make sure that we put the links to those areas in the caption of this episode. But again, thank you all, and I cannot wait to talk to you next week. Until then, I really, really hope you're staying safe, and I really, really hope you're taking care of yourselves. Know that you are loved today and every day.